And then it ended up as an ordeal that my friend decided it was funny to call the suicide hotline as a prank call, but I ended up talking with the lady for like 20 minutes because she thought he was in serious distress. Real funny prank, Charlie. And I said I would eat a piece of paper, so I ate a piece of paper. There's just nothing else to say about that. And my dad, in the middle of a fully packed Moe's, proceeds to, not shouting, but slightly loudly says, "Excuse me, Mr. Guidance Counselor, did you just ask me if there was a cure for autism?" And so, yeah, I ate the burrito, but like also half the tinfoil unexpectedly. It didn't taste any better, but like, it was still something, I guess. But that still doesn't top the time that in seventh grade I got a detention for making a crossbow out of pencils, a binder clip, and a bunch of rubber bands, firing at the back of a student's head. You know what? And I still don't regret it because every piece of ingenuity that went into that thing was so great I never took it apart. It's still in my room. And then she walks over all flattering and says, "Wow, that was really nice playing." And I responded with, "If it was so nice, put some money in my saxophone case." And she walks away and says, "It wasn't that good on second thought." Which just shows your opinion will change on the drop of a dime or at the demand of a dollar. But it just happens, I guess. But mark my words, in the next 10 years, you will see America in a civil war, and people will be begging to go to Canada. But Canada's gonna say no because we don't want a Canadian civil war. So, and we were talking about World War II, so I just said, since when has Russia ever lost a world war? And I immediately realized the mistake when I remembered World War One. Also, I remember when Russia wins a war, they never really win a war because their country always ends up in turmoil. And it was wrestling units, so we were doing wrestling, and I was doing pretty alright. My friend fucking hated me because I knew I knew some pretty basic and slightly advanced martial arts from my dad. And when my friend is just standing up, not protecting his legs or anything, and I'm down like on like hunched over at my knees in a grappler stance. You know what happens next. But that was that was definitely the day I learned that mixing bleach and ammonia gives you mustard gas. That's no good. I almost died. And then he complained for the rest of the week that he had detention all week, and then I said it's because you drew a fucking swastika on an eraser in the German teacher's classroom. And as a guy when wrestling, I know exactly where there's not many places where you just can't punch a guy. There's actually only one place where you just shouldn't punch a guy, but is like your next opponent is Emma. Let's say her name is Emma because her name was actually Emma. But and she was my only opponent that wasn't a guy, and I quickly had to make a judgment call of where can I punch a girl where it's politically correct. And so as he walked by, he said, "Nice ponytail, loser." And so I kicked him in the shin and said, "Nice bruise, loser." That's just the problem with bullies these days. They're all bark and no bite. And maybe that's not so much a problem, but goddamn, I just wish someone would throw down a gauntlet instead of calling me instead of just calling me nerd. At least one of them is more imaginative than just uh. And so he said that my writing was like the opening to Star Wars, just thrown in. And I thought, well, that was really flattering, but it was based off of The Hobbit. And goddamn, Sherlock Holmes is so intelligent. He could tell what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and what I'm gonna have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner tomorrow. And then he said, no one likes a sore loser. And then I said, tough shit.